In the Ukrainian city of Izium, the scars of war are everywhere. They're in the stories told by the city's heroes. They're worn by the survivors, and they're buried with those who died. This is also a city haunted by the unknown. Many buildings here still hold the dead. Other buildings hold different horrors. And yet, the city still stands. Its residents unbowed, its heroes fighting on. This is what happened to the people who call this place home.
It's our land and it's our people. It's all Ukraine. It was Ukraine, it is Ukraine, it will Ukraine.
For more than 5 months, this was the Russian-held city of Izium. The people here are on the crossroads between the separatist east and the Ukrainian heartland. They endured weeks of constant bombardment as Russian and Ukrainian forces fought for control of the strategic city. Then the Russian occupation began. Residents say they never gave up hope.
We are fighting for our future because we want to be free. We want to be a normal country in the free world.
After months battling the Russians, Captain Yuri Kochevenko, known by his call sign Pikachu, the Pokemon character emblazoned on his chest, is among the first Ukrainian soldiers to enter the newly liberated city.
І все буде Україна. Вірте в ЗСУ. Україна! Путін! Бачите, отак місцеві зустрічають.
Izium.
The liberation of Izium was part of a stunning advance by Ukrainian forces. People overcome with emotions as residents welcome them back, putting an end to Russia's brutal occupation of this key city. Days later, on September 14th, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visits the destroyed city center. The Ukrainian flag is hoisted high, a signal that after a summer of slow and steady gains, Russia was beginning to lose ground in the brutal war it had forced upon its neighbor.
Is there an interaction with someone from Izium that really sticks out in your mind?
Actually, I can some video and I can share it. Тобто, ми пробили колесо, вже немолодий чоловік, і каже, хлопці, зараз все зробимо, ми зараз щось придумаємо, ми такі раді вас бачити, нарешті. Він бігав реально і кричав, наші в місті, наші в місті. Постійно щось нам розказували ці свої історії. І розказували різні страшні історії про пограбунки, про вбивства, про зґвалтування. Намагалися нас обійняти, просто стоїть, наче вже пообнімалися. Все, стоїмо, розмовляємо. Він каже, можна я тебе ще раз обніму?
Хотів вас обняти.
Слава, все в нас добре.
When we arrive in mid-September, Izium is without power and running water. And yet, many of the residents refuse to leave, including retirees Yevhen and Antonina Krayev. They've been married for 47 years. Together, they survived the worst of the bombardment.
What is this?
Це осколки від взриву касетних взривательних предметів, снаряд. Падають і розриваються, і тисячі осколків летять в человека. Это самое страшное оружие. Убивает на муфну.
Один из них
Hit.
на пролет вылетел. Сюда влетел, сюда вылетел. И в бок, и в печень.
Antonina says the Russian military airlifted her to Russia for surgery.
И там сейчас сидит. Может, на месте будет, может. А с обезболивающими тоже худо. Пошла, там давали обезболивающих. 10 таблеточек дали. Шомните 10
There were some
таблеточек.
humanitarian aid delivery and they gave her
Вот и
10
всё.
pills. But what is 10 pills for her
А
now?
у кого и нет вообще, привозят
hurts
там
all the
продукты, а
Some of the people just don't have even
медицины
that
никакой.
much painkillers.
Yevhen shows us where they sheltered for months. The basement of a tiny cottage built back in 1916.
Ну, коли кинули першу бомбу, його просто підняло і опустило.
What was going through your mind when the house lifted?
Ну, подумали, що ми вже останемося навічно в підвалі.
Imagine living in this basement for months. You have no phone, no internet, no electricity. In fact, this is your only light source. You have no heat. You're running out of water and food. At night, the explosions are so loud you can't sleep. And you don't know if your house is going to be the one hit next.
Deep in the forest, a team of Ukrainian war crimes prosecutors uncovers a burial site, including a mass grave. With the sounds of war echoing in the distance, forensic investigators methodically shovel through the soft earth, careful to avoid landmines allegedly left behind by the Russians. 2 mines have been found so far. Munitions are everywhere. Each body is carefully documented, then taken away for forensic analysis. The smell of death and the weight of tragedy are overwhelming. In the end, they exhume more than 440 bodies, the remains of men, women, and children.
There seems to be more graves than trees in this area. Many of the graves are unmarked. Others have numbers. Some do have names, including these graves, the graves of 2 children killed on March 9th of this year during the Russian occupation.
We later learn that 5-year-old Olesia Stolpakova and 8-year-old Oleksandra Panyenko were among the 52 people killed when a massive bomb struck their apartment complex. Their great-grandmother, Helena Zahareva, lost 8 family members in the attack, including the girls and her son, Oleksandr. She recalls the moment she tried to identify all 8 of their bodies.
Я своих детей узнавала. Очень, как бы было тяжело узнавать. Лиц не было. Лица сгоревшие, лиц не было. Единственное, что у моего сына было лицо целое.
When was the last time you spoke to your son?
Да. Сын позвонил 6 числа последний раз. Он сказал, что держитесь, держитесь, я, мамочка, тебя люблю.
Who was he?
Такого сына больше нету. Очень хороший. Тут нечего сказать.
– 9 березня зранку ми почули, як гукає нас сусід. І він сказав, що треба виходити.
Ina Osipova and her family lived in the building next to Helena's family. A prosecutor for the Izium district, she alleges their apartment complex was relentlessly hit by the Russians. Her 5-year-old sheltered in the bathtub. The day of the airstrike, Ina says she made it to the basement with her husband and son. Her mother and grandmother were unable to escape their apartment.
Був такий зрив, що я почала летіти. І я розуміла, що я приземлюся головою своєї дитини. Цей момент, мабуть, материнський інстинкт у мене так, то я висунула ліву сторону вперед і прийняла удар своїм плечем. Після чого я почула крики дітей, але це не моя дитина, плакала, крики жінок. Було дуже темно, був запах пороху, пилі, Тобто я підняла свою дитину, я пощупала його руки, ноги, голову, він був цілий. Потім мене знайшов у цій темряві мій чоловік.
Somehow, Ina's mother also survived the attack, but her grandmother is still missing and is believed to have died. No one from that airstrike made it to the city hospital for medical treatment. Chief Doctor Yuri Kuznetsov says it was impossible for anyone to get across the river.
Дивіться, вільно пересуватися по місту ж під час обстрілу ніхто ж не перед. Можеш спросити, Криса була хоч раз під обстрілом самоліту? Ні, ну от саме страшне, це коли самоліти обстрілюють.
He says he's lost count of the number of times the hospital was bombed. A makeshift morgue is nearby, full of bodies. March was the most difficult month. He says the shelling was relentless. Most medical workers fled the city. He shows us where dozens of critically ill patients sheltered in the hospital basement.
What was the most terrifying moment?
Коли люди помирали,
When people were dying.
Саме страшне, що для медика може бути?
Ina is now investigating possible war crimes in Izium.
Do you believe what happened to you was a war crime?
Так.
Is there such a thing as justice for you?
Я в це вірю.
For the graves with no names, only numbers, the dead remain a mystery.
Over that way is grave 91. It was there that investigators say they exhumed the body of a unknown civilian man showing signs of mutilation, and they're investigating possible torture.
In the dark and damp basement of the city's police station, Ukrainian war crimes prosecutors allege they've uncovered a Russian prison and torture center. The living conditions and smells are frankly unbearable. Serhiy Bolvanov from the National Police leads the investigation.
There are 4 people. You can see a place when person was asleep. There are 4 places.
Wow.
And person lived in this awful, дуже ганебних умовах. This is a toilet. This is a place when this poor person eat.
But they would bring these people upstairs to
Yes, that's right. Upstairs and torture. We think this. So in the first floor we collect evidence, проводи оголеними кінцями, і ми вважаємо, що ймовірно ці проводи використовувалися для тортур. And people who were there mark on the wall lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 days somebody was there. And in this wall, on this wall, you can see date 29 June 22. Somebody who named Lyoha, it's like Alexei, and this person wrote cross and words, God save us, Amen, and cross it on.
We were out at grave 91 today.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what happened to him?
I don't want to explain what does it mean, because it's our case and we have to investigate this case.
Is it possible that he was staying here?
Of course, we don't know, but it's possible.
But when you see this, what goes through your mind as a human?
I'm a human at first, and when I see this place, it shocked me. I'm very scared.
NBC News reached out to the Russian Ministry of Defense asking for comments on the allegations made by Ukrainians in Izium and by the Kharkiv Oblast Prosecutor's Office. It never responded to our multiple requests. In the first days of the liberation, residents gather in the church square, desperate for aid that would be slow to arrive. The children of Izium remain children, transforming a tool of war into a playground. The sounds of bombs have become part of normal life.
It's okay. It's normal. Don't worry, it's very far.
You don't even flinch. Your school was burned to the ground?
There were Russian soldiers in that school.
Do you know when you're going to go back to school?
Ви знаєте, коли повернеться до школи?
On September 21st, Russia's President Vladimir Putin calls up 300,000 reserve troops to join the front lines, triggering an exodus of Russian men trying to avoid going to war. We go back to the church square to meet up with Captain Yuri Kuchevenko. The crowds are gone, and a makeshift market has appeared, selling everything from food to children's books. Still, people are desperate. A young boy joins our interview looking for food. Yuri says he's unfazed at the prospect of hundreds of thousands of Russians joining the fight.
Fresh meat for us. So we really don't care about it.
Why do you see them as fresh meat?
Just a lot bodies to their mothers. So it's sad, but it's sad first of all for Russian people. They will die for nothing. Я хочу обратиться сейчас к россиянам и просто спросить, на что вы рассчитываете? У вас нет ни единого шанса. Все, на что вы можете рассчитывать, это вот так вот. Стать удобрением для украинской земли. Вы так хотите этой земли, так вы в ней останетесь.
In early September, word spread that the Ukrainian military was preparing to launch a counteroffensive to the south. Russian forces responded, pulling resources from the northeast, leaving them vulnerable in the Kharkiv region. That's when Yuri says he received orders to retake Izium. He says what Russia had conquered in 6 months, Ukrainian forces recaptured in a single day. In a bombed-out church in the outskirts of the city, what was being used as a Russian field hospital and staging center completely ransacked during their retreat.
Leaving behind Russian uniforms, stretchers, trays of blood, bandages, as well as rotting open containers of food. They left this area and they left as quick as they could.
Ну і власне, от зараз ми вже повністю звільнили Ізюм, навколишні села і просуваємося далі на схід, ну наскільки нам це вдається.
Have you lost friends?
Of course, yes, very sad. It's war. À la guerre comme à la guerre. War like war.
Are you prepared to give your life for your country?
Yes, it's. I think about it every day, and I guess I prepare, but actually I can't be sure. So because of course I want be alive. I want back to my family, to my daughter, my son.
Izium is divided in two by a river, and every day that we've been here, we're really concerned about a pontoon bridge that is literally the only way to get to a certain section of the town. This looks like it could split in half really at any moment. It's really hard to imagine living in this section of town knowing that that little pontoon bridge is your only connection to the rest of the world and a lifeline for food, medicine, and other essential aid that these people are relying on to survive. Just over that way, you can see the other bridges connecting this part of Izium have been completely taken out. When we get to this part of the bridge, we all breathe a sigh of relief. Yeah. We made it. This time.
The weather is beginning to turn. We check in on Antonina and Yevhen. Because there's no cell service, no internet, our visit is a surprise. There's still no electricity or heat, but they insist on treating us as their guests.
Are you worried about the winter?
Да, боимся. Если свет будет, уже насос будет гонять воду по котлу.
What scares you most, the winter or the Russians returning?
И то, и то.
Despite the conditions, Antonina insists we stay for lunch.
How did you meet?
Я работала в Харькове на стройке. Приехала сюда в командировке. Ну и все, здесь и осталась.
А я работал в полицейском.
What do you love most about her?
Ну, такой
Що здачі дає?
перцовий характер. Така вона правильна, справедлива.
What do you love most about him?
Та теж ж таке, послушний. Все обоюдно. Так что, если доживем, приезжайте на 50-летие, на золотую свадьбу, если доживем.
It's been a month since the liberation. Izium is returning to life. They're repairing bombed-out buildings and destroyed roads. We visit Helena in the city's outdoor market. 6 days a week, she works in what was once her son's store, selling children's shoes.
Ну, во-первых, это один магазин на весь Изюм сейчас. Мы не поднимали. У нас еще до войны такие цены были. Даже мы немножко и вступаем, потому что денег у людей сейчас нету. Дети сейчас возвращаются, их надо обувать.
Inventory is low. Her son's warehouse was looted. Many of the winter boots were stolen.
Do you like your boots? Are they going to make you run fast?
Какой-то стимул. Ходить на рынок, работать, как-то отвлекаться, как-то жить.
What would your son say if he saw you working here?
Я думаю, он бы сказал, что я правильно делаю.
What do you tell your daughter and your son?
Actually, my daughter in the USA just now, in Baltimore, with my mom, her grandmother, and they live in Baltimore with my good friends who U.S. military, actually. So maybe if he will see it, hey Shane, thank you so much for all what did you do for my family.
In early December, we traveled to the suburbs of Baltimore to meet Yuri's 15-year-old daughter, Karina, and his mother, Ludmila. Karina and Ludmila arrived in the United States in September. They're staying with Yuri's friend and Iraq War veteran Shane Keller and his wife, Colleen Riley.
Your dad's fighting in Ukraine right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm scared. I know he is professional, but it's not cool.
Karina worries about her mom and little brother who are still in the capital, Kyiv.
What does your dad say?
He always said, it will be okay, Karina, but you must understand, it will be something happening with me. You must be stronger and old. And I must understand from my brother what's happened and how it happened. He's 11 years old. He must know truth.
And do you know the truth of what's happening in Ukraine right now?
Sure, because he told me everything. We have a good, sentence. Гірка правда краща солодкої брехні. A bitter truth is better than a sweet lie.
Together, we call Yuri, who's still fighting on the front lines. He asks not to be seen on camera.
How are you doing?
Actually, I suppose not bad because I'm alive.
Yuri then speaks with his mom and Shane. Shane met Yuri years ago during a week-long trip to Ukraine for the U.S. military. They've kept in touch ever since. Days after Russia's invasion, Shane says Yuri reached out, asking if he could take his daughter and his mom.
I think we kind of felt like, there's no way that we could say no.
I remember they just had a suitcase each, and I thought,
I can't imagine leaving my country and just packing my world into one suitcase to go, stay somewhere else for an unknown amount of time.
What does this mean to you, to be able to do this?
I think for us, I mean, yes, it's a little bit more work having extra people in the home, but I don't think it's, too terribly bad, and I don't think maybe we don't even realize just how important this is for them.
Are you proud of your dad?
Yeah, sure.
He helped free Izium. How does that make you feel?
Great. I understand he can die or everything, but I think he's a hero.
Karina now lives between two worlds, and yet she's flourishing. She just made honor roll. What do you tell the other kids?
Oh, they're not really asking, and I told my story only for one person. And she's not from USA, she's from Kyrgyzstan, and she speaks Russian. Amanda, I love you.
Her shout out a reminder she's still a child, doing her best for her dad.
No, I just want my father think I'm good and everything, and don't worry about me. Everyone must right now stay strong.
That strength is echoed throughout the city of Izium, where even in the darkest moments, you find compassion and generosity. From the woman who's lost her family to the retirees toasting to an uncertain future with what little they have left to give. Even a soldier willing to give away his symbol of hope and a better tomorrow.
Everyone was asking about that.
Oh, it's like maybe moral patch. So because my nickname Pikachu, I like this character. He is so funny and optimistic and румянец, red cheeks, yes.
So you're the Ukrainian Pikachu.
Oh, okay.
Who gave you that patch?
It's my followers, just present, but I can present it for you.
Oh. I don't want to take your Pikachu. It's a signature.
Just for memory.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you to share our stories for all people, because it's very, very important for us. Right now, right here, we are fighting for all free world. How I said, we are fighting for our freedom and yours. Because it's not just a war between Russia and Ukraine. It's war between past and future.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.